Hi, we're going to talk about trying to solve one-step and two-step equations today. What we've got here is we've got some problems, and of course you see that they're both the same. We're going to show two different ways. One is a flow chart, and flow chart allows us to see how we're going to solve it step by step by step. Algebraic is a mathematical way of doing the solution, finding the solution, but as beginners we want to see which side we're working with, how we're doing this. So the flow chart helps us do that. Later on we'll talk about models, not in this video. All right, flow chart. Nice thing to see about this is that the first thing we need to do is we need to identify the variable. And the variable is a letter or a symbol that represents a number. So that would be B. It doesn't look like a number right now, but we know that some number plus 3 is going to give us 8. So we're going to write that down, B. And we identified it. B is our variable. Now we need to see what operation and what we are actually doing to that. And what we're doing to B is we added 3. And this looks like B plus 3, which is what we saw above. Now what does that equal? It equals 8. Both of these are exactly the same. They're both equal. They're both exactly the same, except they look different at this point. All right. Let's go ahead and do the opposite of what is here. The opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. And 5 is our answer. These two are the same. B is the same as 5, because if we know that 5 plus 3 is 8, right? Okay, so these are the same, and these are the same. All right, now let's look at the other side. And on the right side, we see algebraic. And what we're trying to do is we see that B plus 3 equals 8. And we want to do the opposite. We want to isolate B, and we want B equals. All right, to do that, we have to remove this. So we're going to do the opposite of what's there. This is plus 3, so we will subtract 3 from both sides. So we're going to subtract 3. We call this do-do. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. And let me just move this over so that I can write that a little bit better. All right, so we subtract. There's nothing that we are doing to B, so we're bringing it straight down. Plus 3 minus 3. You have 3, and you owe 3. That means that you have none left. They cancel out. That becomes 0. Over here, we're going to bring our equal sign straight down. 8 minus 3 is 5. So you have two different ways of doing the same function. Flowchart, algebraic. All right, let's continue with another example. Here we have a multiplication problem. We have 4 times C equals 16. All right, and again, they're both the same, but I'm going to do the flowchart here. I'm going to do the algebraic on the right. We want to identify the variable. The variable is C. All right. And what are we doing to it? Well, we're multiplying 4. So that's what we're going to show. Times 4. All right, so let's put it together. C plus 4. All right. And what does all that equal? All that equals 16. Again, these two are exactly the same. They just look a little different at this point. All right, let's figure out what C is equal to. And I'm sorry, that should be times. Let me make sure that that looks like a multiplication. A computer might look like a little star like that. All right, so this is multiplication, not addition. So 4 times C. All right, so what did we do to it? Well, we multiplied times 4, so we're doing the opposite. Opposite would be divide by 4. What is 16 divided by 4? Our answer, of course, is 4. All right, and that would be our flow chart. All right, algebraic. Okay. Well, we know that this is the variable, so we're going to be doing something here to this, and we will do whatever we do here, we will do the same thing on the other side. We want to discover the value of C, so let's go ahead and let's divide. Now, one of the things you need to remember is that division is going to look different now in 7th graders. Division now looks like a fraction. We're dividing by 4. We want to get rid of this 4, so let's divide by 4. And we're going to use our property of 1. Our property of 1 says that any number 4 over 4 is equal to 1. 1 times C is going to be C. And let's write this as a 1. Let's remember that this is equal to 1. 1 times c is c. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay. Need to know how to do both of these. It's going to be real important. We will do these in class. And now I'm going to show you how to do two-step equations. Okay, let's do two-step equations. And two-step equations require us to do two different things. And the reason is because, look at t. We are multiplying t times 3, but on this side we're also going to be taking away 7. So that's two different things. We're multiplying and we're subtracting. All right, so let's use our flowchart to help us map out what's going on and how to solve this. All right, so let's use t. That's our variable. What's happening to t? Well, we're multiplying by 3. So that would be times 3. All right. That gives us 3t. That's this part. What are we doing also? We're taking away 7 from that, minus 7. Right? So that gives us 3t minus 7. And running out of space there, but can fit it in. And what does that equal? That equals this. Remember, one more time. These two are equal, but they just look really different. All right, let's go backwards. What's the first thing we do? Well, here we subtracted 7, so here we're going to add 7. All right, so 17 plus 7 is 24. Try that out, okay? Be nice if you pause this every once in a while and just did this math and see if you can come up with the same answers I'm coming up with. All right, so we've got 24 again. All right, so at this point we've got this. Let's divide by 3 is what it says here, because this says multiply by 3. So this must mean that we're going to divide by 3. Okay? All right, 24 divided by 3 is 8. All right, and that's what we should get. I'm just going to really quickly go through this and see if this is true. Let's plug it back in here. Let me use a different color so we can see that. 3 times, well, we said t is got to equal to 8, right? T equals 8. All right, so then that's times 8 minus 7. If you remember, the order of operations says that we need to multiply first before we subtract. So 3 times 8 is 24 minus 7. And of course, 24 minus 7 is 17. All right, so it does work out. All right, let's try this algebraically. All right, I'm going to slide this slightly over, hopefully. And let's try doing the same thing. Now with algebraic, what we're going to have to remember is we're going to add and subtract before we multiply and divide. This is order of operations in reverse. It's opposite because we're trying to go backwards and figure out what this answer is. So let's do adding and subtracting first. This is subtract, so I'm going to do the opposite. Remember we did the opposite right here, didn't we? We added 7. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. We're adding 7. Sorry, 7, not 17. There we go. All right. This comes straight down because we're not actually doing something with 3t, but we are adding 7. Minus 7 plus 7, they cancel out. Okay, so we have 3t equals 17 plus 7 is 24. Okay, and I'm just going to draw this because I'm going to separate the sides. All right, this says 3 times t, so we're going to do the opposite. Let's divide by 3. We said that back here, divide by 3 would be our second step. Just going to rewrite 3t equals 24. All I'm doing is rewriting, but we're dividing by 3. 3 over 3 equals 1. 1 times t is t. That equals 24 divided by 3, and oh, lo and behold, we get t equals 8. We found out over here on this side that t also equals 8. So that is our algebraic form. Again, we're just going step by step. What are we doing? And then we're going backward. See you in class.